Welcome to History with Herodotus, where we delve into the depths of human experience, uncovering the intricacies that have shaped our world. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey through the realm of scripture and translation as we explore the storied history of the King James Bible. This iconic text has left an indelible mark on Western civilization, influencing art, literature, and culture for centuries. In the early 1500s, Europe was ablaze with the fires of the Protestant Reformation, as thinkers like Martin Luther and John Calvin challenged the authority of the Catholic Church. This intellectual and theological upheaval created a fertile ground for new ideas to take root, including the notion that Scripture should be accessible to all people in their native tongues. The pioneering work of William Tyndale, who dared to translate the Bible into English, would later become a crucial catalyst for the creation of the King James Bible. As we navigate this complex tapestry, we find ourselves in the midst of the English Reformation, with King Henry VIII's desire to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, sparking a chain reaction that would lead to the Church of England's break with Rome. The ascension of Edward VI to the throne in 1547 marked a significant turning point, as this young king's fervent Protestantism paved the way for the establishment of the Church of England with the Bible at its core. The year 1553 saw the accession of Queen Mary I, also known as Bloody Mary, who sought to restore Catholicism in England. This period of persecution, which included the burning of prominent Protestants like Thomas Cranmer and Nicholas Ridley, drove many English scholars and theologians into exile on the continent. It was during this time that the seeds of the King James Bible were being sown, as these expatriate scholars became acquainted with the works of European reformers and began to envision a new, authoritative translation of the Bible. One such scholar was William Whittingham, an English theologian who had fled to Geneva to escape Mary's persecution. It was in this Swiss city that Whittingham encountered the influential French theologian John Calvin, whose ideas about scripture and translation would profoundly shape the future of the King James Bible. As we follow the trajectory of these events, we find ourselves drawn into a world of intellectual and theological ferment, where the pursuit of scriptural truth became an all-consuming passion for many. The year 1558 marked the beginning of a new era in England, as Queen Elizabeth I ascended to the throne, bringing with her a more tolerant attitude towards Protestantism. This shift in the religious landscape created an environment conducive to the development of a new English Bible, one that would eventually become the King James Bible. As Queen Elizabeth I's reign continued, the English Protestant Church began to solidify its identity, and with it, the need for a unified, authoritative Bible translation became increasingly pressing. It was against this backdrop that the seeds of the King James Bible were nurtured, awaiting the ascension of a monarch who would champion their cause. That monarch would be James VI of Scotland, who in 1603, upon the death of Elizabeth I, became James I of England, uniting the crowns of Scotland and England under a single ruler. James I, a staunch Protestant, was keenly aware of the divisions within the English Church, particularly between the Puritans, who sought further reform, and the more moderate elements of the Church of England. Recognizing the potential for a unified Bible to heal these rifts and cement his own legacy, James I convened the Hampton Court Conference in January 1604. This gathering brought together leading theologians and scholars, including Richard Bancroft, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and John Reynolds, a prominent Puritan leader. It was here, amidst the opulent surroundings of Hampton Court Palace, that the decision to create a new English Bible translation was formally made. The task of translating the Bible into English was divided among 6 companies of scholars, totaling approximately 50 men who were assigned different sections of the text. The translators worked tirelessly, poring over existing translations, including those by William Tyndale and the Geneva Bible, as well as original Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic texts. Their goal was to produce a translation that was both faithful to the original languages and accessible to the common reader. One of the defining moments in the creation of the King James Bible came when the translators gathered at Stationers' Hall in London to review and finalize their work. It was here, through a process of meticulous debate and revision, that the distinctive phrasing and cadence of the King James Bible began to take shape. The committee's approach to translation was guided by a commitment to accuracy, clarity, and elegance, as exemplified by their rendering of Psalm 23, which has become one of the most beloved and recognizable passages in the English language. As the translators worked, they were acutely aware of the historical significance of their endeavor. They sought not only to convey the meaning of the original texts, but also to create a work of literature that would inspire and uplift generations of readers. This ambition is encapsulated in the words of Miles Smith, one of the translators, who wrote, "Translation it is that openeth the window to let in the light, that breaketh the shell, that we may eat the kernel." The years 1604 to 1611 were marked by intense scholarly activity as the translators labored to complete their task. During this period, they faced numerous challenges, from reconciling differences in interpretation to navigating the complexities of biblical poetry and prophecy. Despite these obstacles, the translators persevered, driven by a shared vision of creating a Bible that would be a source of comfort, guidance, and inspiration for the English people. On February 19, 1611, Robert Barker, the King's printer, published the first edition of the King James Bible, an event that marked a watershed moment in English literary and religious history. The new Bible was dedicated to James I, who had been instrumental in its creation, and it bore the imprint of his royal authority. As the first copies of the King James Bible were distributed throughout England, they were met with widespread acclaim, hailed as a masterpiece of translation that would bring the scriptures to life for readers across the land. The publication of the King James Bible was not without controversy, however. Some critics argued that the new translation was too lavish, too prone to poetic flourishes, and insufficiently faithful to the original texts. These criticisms notwithstanding, the King James Bible quickly established itself as the dominant English translation, supplanting earlier versions and becoming an integral part of English culture. In the years following its publication, the King James Bible underwent several revisions, including a significant update in 1613, which corrected errors and refined the translation. As the decades passed, the King James Bible became an iconic symbol of English Protestantism, shaping the spiritual lives of countless individuals and influencing the development of literature, art, and music. One notable example of the King James Bible's impact can be seen in the life of John Donne, a prominent Anglican priest and poet who frequently incorporated biblical imagery and themes into his sermons and writings. Donne's work, infused with the language and spirit of the King James Bible, continues to be celebrated for its beauty, depth, and emotional resonance. The influence of the King James Bible extended far beyond the realm of literature, however. Its publication marked a significant milestone in the development of the English language itself, as it helped standardize English vocabulary, grammar, and syntax. The King James Bible's phrasing, cadence, and idioms have become an integral part of everyday English, with expressions such as an eye for an eye, a drop in the bucket, and the root of all evil, becoming common currency. As the years went by, the King James Bible continued to evolve, undergoing numerous revisions and updates. In 1769, a significant revision was undertaken by Benjamin Blaney, which further refined the translation and corrected errors. This revised edition became the standard text for many years, cementing the King James Bible's status as a beloved and authoritative translation. Throughout its history, the King James Bible has remained a source of comfort, inspiration, and guidance for countless individuals, shaping their spiritual lives and influencing their understanding of the world. Its impact can be seen in the art, literature, music, and culture of generations past, and its influence continues to be felt today as people around the world turn to its pages for solace, wisdom, and insight. As the years went by, the King James Bible continued to be a cornerstone of English-speaking Christianity, with its influence extending far beyond the realm of theology. Its poetic language and vivid imagery have inspired countless artists, writers, and musicians, shaping the cultural landscape of the Western world. The Bible's themes of redemption, forgiveness, and salvation have resonated with people from all walks of life, offering a message of hope and comfort in times of turmoil. In the 19th century, the King James Bible played a significant role in the development of the Sunday school movement, which sought to educate children about the Bible and its teachings. This movement helped to spread the Bible's influence even further, as millions of people around the world were introduced to its stories, parables, and teachings. As one prominent clergyman of the time noted, "The Bible is the book of the people, and the people are the guardians of the Bible." Throughout the 20th century, the King James Bible continued to be a source of inspiration for many notable figures, including civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., who often drew upon its themes of justice, equality, and compassion in his speeches and sermons. The Bible's influence can also be seen in the work of authors like C.S. Lewis, whose fictional works are infused with biblical imagery and themes. In recent years, the King James Bible has continued to evolve, with new translations and interpretations emerging that seek to make its language and message more accessible to modern audiences. Despite these changes, the King James Bible remains one of the most widely read and influential books in human history, with its legacy extending far beyond the realm of religion. Today, the King James Bible is remembered as a masterpiece of English literature, a work of profound spiritual insight that has shaped the course of Western culture. Its language and imagery continue to inspire artists, writers, and musicians, while its themes of redemption, forgiveness, and salvation remain a source of comfort and hope for people around the world. As the esteemed literary critic Harold Bloom once observed, "The King James Bible is the foundation of our literature, the source from which all our greatest writers have drawn their inspiration." Its message of hope, redemption, and salvation remains as relevant today as it was when the book was first published over 400 years ago. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that, to understand the present, we must first understand the past.